Hello, my name is Laura Lopez, and I am with the TTU Ethics Center. And today we are meeting with Dr. Florencio Aranda.
Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Florencio Aranda III, and I'm really excited today to be speaking with you all. I currently work at South Dakota State University as the Multicultural Latino Retention Advisor in the Office of Multicultural Affairs.
Have you been in contact with any students recently since everyone's been working from home and students have been um, doing a lot of, or everything has pretty much gone online for them?
I have, yes, actually. So here at South Dakota State University, I serve as the advisor for the Latin American Student Association. It's comprised of all populations, but it does have a unique focus on the Latinx culture. And I also serve as the Students Association advisor. And so students associations like the Student Government Association at Texas Tech University. And I've interacted with students through those two organizations. And what I have found is that some students are coping well and have adjusted well. What I've also noticed is that some, their anxiety and because of the unknown has really heightened, and you see students have a new sense of worry. And then I have one student in particular who has informed me um, that their parents are COVID positive. And so this student is having to navigate now taking care of parents who are sick, um, ensuring that her younger siblings are still doing their coursework because they're still in K through 12 education. And on top of that, still fulfilling her role as a university student and the pressures that come with that, the unknown of whether the family members will be okay. Um, she's reached out to me, and I continue to be in contact with her in particular, just letting her know that we're here, always providing her with resources that our university has to offer. Um, and just showing her that we do care for her as a human. And what I've done personally is ensured that she keeps her professors informed so that they can be aware of the life, the serious life situation that she's going through. And that if that at the end of the day, her priority, um, while others may disagree, for me, I believe her priority should be her parents and her family and her siblings, and not necessarily just and not just her classwork. I understand she has a responsibility to be that university student, but when life gets tough, I would hope that our professors and our faculty and staff and administrators are understanding, and the majority are, which I appreciate that. That is one thing that I do love about the university that I work at, is that there is this sense of community, a sense of we prioritize family, and there is this connection to family. And so during this time, our faculty, staff, and administration has been very understanding and have adapted well and have worked really well with our students as they navigate this. And this student in particular has informed me that all her professors have been very understanding. So I appreciate that about my fellow colleagues.
That's awesome. What ethical perspective has been clarified for you during this time?
So one of the aspects that I find important in ethics and in moral philosophy um, is justice and truth telling. And I believe that they go very close hand in hand for me in the profession that I do. And those two have really stood out to me in this time. So justice, the way that I think of it, is the principle assumes impartiality and equality, and then truth telling reveals and relates to the disclosure of information in a respectful and compassionate way. And in my role as the Latino Multicultural Retention Advisor, I've had to be very upfront with our students. I've had to treat them justly in a respectable, equal manner. And during this time, what has really been clear to me is that I have to treat each and every individual with fairly, equally, and with respect as I inform them of, the constant evolving changes that are taking place, working remotely, providing them with those resources, telling them, hey, there is a possibility where you might procrastinate or where you might not be as engaged in your coursework. And then how do we work through that with students who I see are becoming overly anxious about things, being truthful and saying, hey, I really think that you should seek professional help. And here is the number to our wellness and counseling centers. Just being very truthful in that matter. At the same time, I feel that truth telling in my as a professional, as a student affairs professional, has also become very evident for me. I have to be truthful and tell my supervisor and my colleagues, this is what I'm working on, and trusting one another that we're actually working from home, that we're continuing to put our students first, that we're reaching out to our students and working with them as best we can, despite the situation that we're in. And so those two pieces of ethics have really stood out for me. And then and by doing so, we also honor the autonomy that our colleagues and our students as a whole, because they have the right to live their own lives, and to do what they want, and we have to honor that, be just and be okay, as we all learn to navigate the world that we live in currently. And so being equal and in being inclusive and welcoming and understanding and empathetic as individuals continue autonomously in this current situation that we find ourselves in.
What types of challenges have you been faced with during this time when everyone is working from home and you're trying to work with your students?
Um, I think the challenge for me is because it previously, before going remotely online, I had a lot of student face-to-face interaction, and students through the years that I've been here at South Dakota State University, students have really turned to me from all cultural backgrounds and have seen me as an advocate and an ally and just someone who they can freely and be themselves and express themselves. And what I have found difficult is that I'm missing those students that I serve. I really do miss them. I miss the conversations that we've had. Personally, while I am emailing them and setting up office hours, virtual office hours, and I'm having virtual lunch sessions with people, I'm finding it difficult to engage with my students, and I feel that I'm not serving them to mm, the level that I would like. I would love to continue to be that 100% person that I was doing prior. And now I feel like I am not doing that. And because I'm such a overachiever, as folks say, I feel like I need and could be doing more. And so that I've been finding that challenging. And so I constantly stay up thinking of ways to connect with them, to be able to continue to serve them during this time. And so I try to do as best I can, really connect with them through social media, um, connect with them via Zoom, set up office hours, and then just be there as best I can. And always trying to um, exude and pass off that positive energy that I had with them when I was face to face. And my hope is that they still feel that positivity, those good vibes, even though we're at a distance. And so that's the challenge that I've been facing.
Earlier, you mentioned some programs that your department does. Can you talk about those a little bit?
Yeah, so one of the beautiful things about the current role that I'm in is that we serve as what they call retention advisors. So not only do we help academically in that we help them with classes and with assignments, but one of the responsibilities that we have is to create programming that is tailored for our unique populations, for our historically marginalized and underrepresented populations. One of the things that I'm very proud of when I got here to South Dakota State University, I wanted to create programming that really made the Latino students visible on campus. And so I implemented Cesar Chavez Week, where we celebrate this Latino American and the wonderful things that he has done over the years as a civil rights activist, as a farm worker, advocate and activist. And so, and the reason why I brought Cesar Chavez Week to South Dakota State is because it's very relevant in the Midwest. We are a land grant institution and we specialize in agriculture. And so it was very relevant not only for our Latinx students to celebrate someone who looked like them, who spoke like them, and came from that same background, but it was also important for our other students, in particular our Anglo-American students, to still feel connected to this specific individual that we were highlighting. And so it made it very relevant to their everyday lives because we have a lot of agriculture and farming here in South Dakota. And so students were able to connect. And I always find it funny because they say, when are we doing Cesar Chavez week? And I'm like, well, it's Cesar Chavez, but I'm glad that you're asking. So that's one of the things. What we've done is we've brought so we've shown the movies Cesar Chavez and Dolores, just to, help articulate who they were as individuals. We did a fruit cup uh, event to talk about what these individuals were advocating for. the grapes, the fruits, the strawberries, the lettuce that, they were boycotting in order to get just and humane treatment for the workers, cultivating the, these crops. And so we've done that. We've also been fortunate to bring Eduardo Chavez. He is the grandson of Cesar Chavez, and he showed his documentary called Hailing Cesar, where he talks about how he started to emulate the things his grandfather did in order for him to feel connected to his grandpa, because um, he just knew his grandpa the way that many people know him as this hero. So he emulated the practices that his grandpa did, and through that, he started to feel connected with his grandpa, although he's passed. So meeting him was a really great thing. As an office, we also put the Student Summit on Diversity and Inclusion. And so we bring workshop presenters and keynote speakers to come talk to our students about how to navigate the diverse world that we live in, and how to be more inclusive, how to be aware of the different backgrounds and beliefs that our world has, and being okay with being different, and being okay with someone not having the same thoughts or um, beliefs as you. And so really creating that awareness and equipping them with the skills necessary to navigate and to um, work in areas that are very multidimensional and very diverse. So those are two of the ones we have done. Some of my notable favorites that we have done. Uh, I also, when I got here to South Dakota State University, I created Los Hombres Latinos. It's an affinity group of faculty and staff members that are Latinos, in particular Latino males. The group is open for everyone, but it's focused on Latino males because research shows that Latino men are vanishing from K through 12 and post-secondary education. And in particular, we're also not seeing as many men in educational settings as professors, as deans, as faculty members, whatever the case might be. And so this affinity group, um, paired up with the Brother Circle, which is the African American male affinity group on our campus, and we worked together to host what we called a moment of brotherhood, where it was a safe space where our male students of color could just talk about what they feel like being males of color in South Dakota, um, a very Republican state, a very white state, um, but a state that also has 9 Native American reservations. And how do you navigate that? How do you navigate being a male of color at a predominantly white institution? And so it was a safe space for our students to really engage and interact. And one would think that because of the cultural backgrounds that are, and I'll speak only about the Latino community, but we have been so conditioned as Latino men to not show vulnerability, to not, because that is a sign of weakness, to this very macho, egocentric ideology of what a man should be. And it was in that space when we were sharing our thoughts that men, that our male students were so vulnerable, that they were very expressive, that we were emotional, but we were just men supporting men. And it was a really powerful moment um, when we were done with the event, and then those male students said, "Hey, when's our next one? When are we meeting next? We need to do this again." So it was really fun to have that. Another very notable event that I've liked is we paired up with the Office of Veterans Affairs and the Office of Disability Services to bring a panel called um, Veterans and Disabilities, where we focused on the abilities. And so the panel was comprised uh, of former military members who had a visible or non-visible disability and who were from different cultural backgrounds and came together to talk about their experiences, their lived experiences as people, and how the military impacted their life and how their disability is not a hindrance, but rather it's given them abilities to do other things. And it was there that I was very humbled because I learned that a lot of these people view their disability as an ability because it's given them a platform to connect with people in ways that not many are able to connect. And I really appreciated that event. And we have an array of events where we highlight um, multiple populations. We do Hispanic Heritage Month, um, Black History Month. We do biannual drag shows through our office to honor our LGBTQ plus students. Um, we also pair up with multiple offices around the university to put on programming where our population intersects with those offices, and we do a lot of events, and we're very fortunate to be able to put on events that constantly highlight, educate about our students, but most importantly celebrates the beautiful rich assets that they bring and contributions that they bring to the table each and every day. So that's what I've enjoyed.
Well, thank you. That was an in-depth answer about your profession and what you're doing at South Dakota State. What is the student population, the Latino student population in South Dakota?
So we're currently the overall enrollment numbers for the fall was 11,500, and we currently have approximately 300 Latino students, and that includes online students, so distance learning students, as well as students on our physically on our campus. And it's they are so the Latino population is the fastest growing student population, minority student population on our campus, and we continue to find ways to serve them as effectively as we can. So 300, approximately 300.
Do you have anything else that you would like to add?
No, I think I really covered everything. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to speak. I feel connected once again to Texas Tech University. As I mentioned, it's given me so much. And anytime that Texas Tech reaches out to me and says, "Hey, can you do this? Can you do that?" I will do it. I had the honor of serving as a keynote speaker last year for the Hispanic Student Society banquet, end of the year banquet. And I do so because not only are they, within the Latinx Hispanic population, but it that's a group that is near and dear to me because I was a member of it when I was a student at Texas Tech, and now as a professional, I love that they reached out to me and I was able to do that. And so anytime that Texas Tech says, "Hey, can you do this?" or "Hey, can you meet with this student?" I'm like, absolutely. it's given me so much, and now I do whatever it takes to give back to Texas Tech. And here at South Dakota State, I continue to hone in on my skills and be that advocate that I, have been destined to become, and I'll continue to do so. Like, I consider myself a servant leader because I put others before myself, and I'll continue to do that because education has given so much to me that I want others to be able to experience the beauty that life is, and that the life that I've been afforded because of education, and I want others to thrive and to be able to experience that. And so that's why I continue to give. And so if you need anything, if Texas Tech as a whole needs anything, if the if your office or any of your colleagues need anything, please call upon me. I am here.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that. And thank you for your time.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
have a good day and stay safe.
Yes, likewise. Take care.